What's up, everybody? Well, I got another gameplay video for you guys today, and today we're gonna finish off Assassin's Creed Valhalla at 4K on this TV here. We're all set up, ready to go. Not gonna make this intro a minute long, so let's jump right into display settings. So let's have a quick look at our screen display settings here. We're only gonna look at this one time because nothing here is gonna change, but just want you guys to see it's at 4K, it's rated native hertz, no VSync, nothing making it get less res or anything. So let's go look at settings now. Here are the low settings. We'll just slowly scroll on down. And there we are. Now low benchmark's all finished on up, so here we have our info and settings. We got an average of 78, a minimum of 16, max of 95, and here's our 1 and 0% lows there, and our frame rendered right there, our CPU MS right there, and our GPU MS right there. And then lastly our RAM and GPU. So starting off our 4K low gameplay here. And for this, we're just going to do worst case scenarios pretty much the whole video. We're just going to keep running through this town and seeing what kind of frames we get. Because if you can stay above 60 in town, you're probably going to get 60 almost everywhere else in the game. At least that's what I've figured out in the short time I've been benchmarking this game. No, you won't. And I think with that, it's time for us to move on. So now, starting off with some camera recorded low 4K gameplay here. Of course, we're getting pretty decent FPS, but of course the game even at 4K looks like trash because there's like no textures to anything on low. But if you just wanted to play native resolution and your computer just couldn't handle it, that's what this would be for sure. I'm very curious to see how many resolution changes we can go up before it just becomes unplayable. I know it can't do ultra high, but will it even be... Oh, let's slow down. He's unhappy with me. Here. Gore it and all. And it's now time to move on. Now we're going to move on to medium settings. So let's just look at them over really fast here. And there we go. So, here's the benchmark for medium now, with our system info and settings. We got 62 average, 32 minimum, and a max of 128. There's our 1% and 0.1% lows, and our frame rendered. And here we go with our MS and CPU and GPU stuff, and VRAM and Radeon. Alright, now we got some medium screen recorded gameplay, so just like before, we're just going to try to run through this town real quick and see how our frames do. Seeing as though we're already at 69 to 64, we're probably definitely dropping under 60 here, but by how much? That's what I'd like to know. Alright, down to 50 for a second there. I don't like that. But we seem to be stabling out closer to 60. Yeah, 59, 61. 58 again. We went down to 56, and besides, yeah, 56 the lowest we got. Nope, 55. So besides that first giant stutter down to 50 when we first entered town, the lowest we got down to was 55. I don't know if I would have noticed that or not without a frame rate counter. It's hard to say, really. Ooh, raspberries. Anyway, though, why don't we move on? Alrighty, let's get some medium 4K camera gameplay now. We're already dropping under 60 quite a bit, but I do believe if we just left any aliasing on low, you'd get a lot more, probably like 5 to 10 FPS back. Because at 4K you don't really need any aliasing at anything more than like maybe 2x, if you can handle it. And obviously this GPU at 4K doesn't have a lot of extra gas in the tank, so it's probably best to just leave any aliasing off altogether if you can. But that's just me, since I like to keep the FPS as close to 60 or above it as possible. And if I can't match it, like on this laptop at 4K sometimes, I'd like to at least get it as close as I can to 60. There we go, we did our little run through of the town. Guess we'll just run off into the wilderness a teensy bit here. Alright, that's good, and I think it's time for us to move on. Now we're going to move right along to high graphics settings. Go through all these real quick for you. And we've reached the bottom. Here is our high benchmark, which is all finished. There's our settings and info over there. Now this time we averaged 52, minimum 32, max 35. There's our 1% and 0% lows, and our frames rendered, and our CPU and GPU MS right there, and our VRAM. Alrighty, now let's get into a little high gameplay now. Oh, I guess he doesn't like that. Alright, well, we can go a different way then. Let's get back onto our little wolf mount guy over here. And then let's head up into town. So we can test the worst case scenario, pretty much, of the FPS. Yeah, I'm willing to bet if we just tone down a few settings, you could get 60 with, like, at least textures on ultra and high, or I mean very high, something like that. You really don't want to play anything on ultra, unless you've got, like, an overpowered graphics card like my 3090. And even that, I won't do ultra if it's going to mean under 60 FPS, screw that. Growl yourself, dog. Alright. Now let's move on. Alright. So, now we're going to do some high 4K camera gameplay here. Oh, by the way, dog, I keep running you over. Besides, you need to make way for the superior dog, which is this gigantic wolf. Alright, we just got through town, so I guess let's just run off into the wilderness for just a teensy bit. Let's run off into some trees, huh? Out of the way, rabbit, squirrel, whatever the hell you are. Something saw me. I don't know what it was. But no time to care about that now, as it's time to move on. Now let's have a quick look at the very high graphics preset settings now. And there we go. Benchmark for very high is all finished up now. There's our system info and settings. And this time around, we got 50 FPS average, 26 mid, 77 max. There's our lowest 1% tiles, our CPU and GPU milliseconds, and then our GPU itself with the amount of RAM. Okay, now we got some very high gameplay now. So let us just go run through town again like we have been. Seeing what kind of frames we drop down to. We're already in the high 40s. And we're not even in town yet. Now we're in the 50s. All the way down to 46 so far. Out of the way, people, for I am making a gameplay video.
Hey, don't drink and drive, troll.
Alrighty, why don't we just end this right here and move on? Now we got some 4K, very high gameplay here. So let's track back the way we came, so you can see how much the recording affected the FPS. It seems like at 4K it doesn't really affect it too much, at least at this game, but every game's different. Some games it affects more than others. But yeah, we're quite a bit under 60 now. We're barely able to stay at 50, it seems, in town. But I still say if you just go in down there and turn anything down to low or off, you'd probably be like up to like 56 average, maybe 60 average. And there we are, we're out of town. Hop over a couple of these. And I'd say it's time for us to move on to ultra high. Now we have made it to ultra high graphics preset. So let's just go down here to the bottom so you guys can see all the different settings. And there we go. Here's the benchmark now for ultra high. And there's our system info and settings. We only got 45 this time with a min of 24 and a max of 68. There's our lowest percentiles up there and our frame rendered, our CPU MS, and our VRAM and GPU. So last up here for our screen recorded is ultra high gameplay. We're not gonna lie though, never seen it drop under 30 FPS. We've been in the mid to high 40s, even with the graphics all the way up. So yeah, you could probably get real close to 60 if we just turn some stupid stuff like volumetric clouds and what do you call it? And aliasing down. And you kill those two things, and you'd probably be like at 56 to 60 FPS, even in town. Just a guess though. Then again, this was never really designed as a 4K laptop. I just like showing you guys all the different possibilities. It's fun. And with that, we can move on. Now, last up on the camera recorded gameplay section is ultra quality. Or I guess in this is ultra high quality. So let's run back the way we came really fast. Well, we're still quite a bit ahead of 30 FPS at least. But still not as close to my 60 that I like the most. 60 plus is what I like. Alright, let's run this way a little bit. And with that, I think it's about time we wrap this video up. Well, we are all done with 4K, and it didn't do great, but at least it did good up till medium. Got us around 60 FPS, but anything past medium, and we started dropping quite below 60, though. I'm still pretty sure if you sat there and fiddled with the settings and didn't just run everything on Ultra, you'd probably be fine. You could probably get an average of 60 pretty easily, even at 4K, I would say, on this laptop. But anyway, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and until the next one, peace out, guys.